It felt like I was running on fumes. I really felt so weak. Then I realized if I was still running, it's because I refused to quit. And maybe, just maybe, those fumes were really strength. They called the police on me and stuff, and the officer said, "Ma'am, what seems to be the problem here?" I said, "Well, my husband brought his girlfriend to our house." And the officer said, "Well, I see how that could be a problem." And he went to talk to them, and I was like, "Yeah, go talk to them." And so when I came home, though, it reminded me that there are some things that love shouldn't let you do. It was so much bigger than like, he's a cheater and this is my story. You know, like at what point did you change your definition of love? So I'm sitting in the airplane on the way here, and I'm just like trying to figure out when all of this happened. Like, what were the steps that like changed my life? Because it just feels completely different. Like, I don't even feel like the same person. And I posted this picture on Instagram. It's me and my bridal portraits when I first got married. I was 19, and I just was looking at that girl, and she was willing to settle. Like, I look at my face in that picture and I just see brokenness. At what point did you decide this is all that I deserve? You wanted better because you were fighting for it, you was ramming cars for better, but you didn't do anything to actually become better. And so I apologized to the mistress. And I wasn't smoking anything or drinking anything when I did it. This was like from the heart. I apologized because she had too much control over me. Somewhere between the time I had on that dress, though, I guess the clock struck 12 and I was back in rags. Because I'm in this marriage and I can't even really be mad at him because I knew what I was getting myself into, but he was the easiest target. Like, he was the easiest target, the other women were the easiest target because it was easier to attack them than to accept that I put myself in that situation. You get so far from who you are. Like, I would watch Snap. I remember going home and sitting down with my mother, and we was watching Snap, and she's so classy. And she goes, "I don't see how anyone could ever get to that point." Girl, I see it, girl. Because you be there 1 minute and then the next minute you don't be. So we're in Orlando, and it is the day after my session, the first time Pastor Paula White has ever heard me really speak about my story and my marriage. And although we've known her for a very long time as a family friend, we don't really know each other personally. And so we sit down to talk about life, love, being lost and found in relationships. And she becomes so transparent, more transparent than I think I've ever heard her be.
So here I am as a young teenager and get saved, go through what I go through. Yeah. And I met Randy, my ex-husband now. It's been almost 8 years, wow, which is crazy. So I marry him at 23 years old, and I'm thinking life is amazing. Yeah. I become the mother to his 3 children, 2, 5, and 7. I have a biological son. We start ministry. In 2002, Sarah, I'm writing, "I'm living heaven on earth. Can it get any better?" And I'm thinking, God, your gospel really is Cinderella. This is awesome. Yeah. I'm like, the kids are great. I said, you know, the marriage is great. I'm in love. I'm above the struggle, beneath the radar. You know, God, you're great. 2003, all hell breaks loose. Yeah. I didn't think people go, well, didn't you see it coming? I didn't. I mean, with Randy and I, we took a bath every night. You know, we went on a date night 3 times a week. He told me the passion was gone. I'm like, it was? What was that wild thing we were doing? It was like, I didn't really, and so it was such shock to me. And then it made me question myself, like, where am I? Because when I found out everything, and then you question, am I not enough? Am I not sexy enough? Am I not pretty enough? Am I not?
Pick yourself apart.
And it went back to my childhood issues. Why wasn't I enough? You know, why did you kill yourself? Wasn't I enough? My children are saved and love God now, and you know, running a great ministry. And I just put my hand to the plow and do, when I say my thing, what I believe God's called me to do. And flown private jets and da-da-da, and met with the whole plethora of stuff. But at the end of the day, the greatest blessing in my life was that God loved me enough to reduce me to Christ.
Wow. And then when I found out that y'all would love me in spite of my mistakes, I wanted to tell other people that, hey, like, you could still love God, people can still accept you, and you can be yourself. And that you can be lost in the pews and found in the world, or found in the pews and lost in the world, and you're still not outside of God's grace. Dear God, you're more faithful to me than I deserve. Your love is touching every part of my life. I feel your comfort, trust, and security in all I do. Thank you for not counting me out. All I want to do is live an obedient life. Convict any part of me that will keep me from knowing the fullness of being within your will. Signed, Unexpectedly Trusted. As a mother, I can tell you that there are some things I won't do because of my children. They wanted me to do a reality TV show, and I'm like, y'all gonna be so bored because I'm not gonna cuss nobody out in public on TV.
Feel my heart getting stronger. Steady right.